Before the video starts, I want to give a massive thank you to anyone who has bought sock stickers on the Paikin.com website. Any order that's placed helps the channel massively. It means this thing will be turbo soon, and that thing will be off jack stands, maybe one day. So if you guys want to support the channel, please head over to Paikin.com and cop yourself a sock sticker. Goodbye, stockies. Oh.
Goodbye, Bob Jane. Cheapest tyres Ollie could find.
Oh, these are shocking. For brand new tyres, these are the worst I've ever experienced. Straight up.
Give us a big brew!
There we go. They're full of rust.
Look at how sexy Nathan Paikin's looking today.
If you guys want to fade, head over to naoki.fades on Instagram. He'll shape you up nice and good. So why aren't we tuning, Ollie?
I don't know. Maybe my bolts decided they wanted to subdivide.
Subdivide?
Yep.
You're leasing out the land?
Yep, leasing up the other half of the bolt in the turbo.
So there's no bolt. There's bolt. Exhaust leak.
Bruh.
Very good.
But it's alright, because new turbo coming soon.
You want to see?
Oh yeah, here's a subdivided bolt.
Subdivided bolt. Bye-bye.
Ollie's quick to change the turbo, getting on the tools. Let me just quickly pull your pants down.
Fuck off.
What happened to your chest? Did you fall off a chair?
Let's see how ridiculous this car's gonna look.
Let's see it. Oh, it looks tough. Could do with a little spacer. But you know what it looks like? It looks like a Commie on VY6.
Oh, true.
Damn, she's looking hot, Nath.
What is this? Ollie, you want to explain why there's a different turbo on your car?
Oh, I don't know. You want to have a look?
Where's your old turbo? The OG turbo?
In landfill.
Is it actually?
Yep.
You chucked it out?
Yep.
Damn. Well, in short, this car loves melting turbos. Ollie and I were out the other night tuning this with the Haltech. We noticed that, obviously I was driving and Ollie was in the passenger seat tuning. I noticed that it felt like I was brake boosting whenever I got on boost. Basically what had happened is the bolts that connect the rear housing onto the turbo, they all melted and they snapped off. I was building absolutely no boost and it was just, yeah, it was a mess. So Ollie had this Max Speeding Rods turbo laying around for when he was going to turbo his Beamer. He's in dire need of a turbo, so luckily it's a T3 flange and the rear housing is slightly bigger. The compressor housing is slightly bigger as well. So it's going to suit a 4 litre much better than that tiny little, what even was that? It's smaller than my
TO4E.
TO4, so it's like smaller than my 2871 that's on my Sylvia. I'll insert a photo here of the turbo glowing because it had that much back pressure. Hopefully this car should be on the road soon and won't get beaten by a Toyota Yaris with a slipping auto.
PSA though, I did not put that turbo on this car.
No, Ollie didn't do that. I am so keen to get my sock turbo. Like, looking at this just G's me up. And my car will be better because it's an actual sock. Like, who cares about Intex? Everyone's done an Intec. No one really keeps...
I did sock.
Oh yeah, here's the stock for a while, but then he stripped the dizzy gear on it and it sent metal through the motor. Basically a quick rundown of Ollie's motor. It's an AU motor, but it has the rods and pistons out of earlier E-Series, so they're stronger. The rods and pistons are stronger. They can handle much more boost than AU rods and pistons. But anyway, today's topic, of course, is the EF again. It's a really hot topic here on my channel, the Nathan Pakin channel. So this car, yes, it was technically the cheapest EF XR6 on Facebook Marketplace. However, to get it to this stage, it has costed me a little bit more money. So I'm going to do a quick rundown of exactly how much I've spent on this car to get it to this stage. And the stage that it is in is registered, insured, and basically road legal. So it used to look like this, and now it looks like this. It has wheels on it, obviously. You guys saw in the previous clip. It has a new transmission. The engine's put back together. The interior's put back together. Serviced it. Let's start with my biggest expense, which was this T5 that I had to put in. So when I first got the car, it was manual swap. This isn't a factory manual car. It's factory order, and it was swapped by the previous owner. Obviously it had a T5 in it. You would have seen me take it out and take it apart on one of my previous videos. We discovered that it had I don't think I ever said this in the video, but it had a bent main shaft, which prevented the collar from slipping onto the actual gear past the synchro and onto the gear. So I couldn't select first gear at all. So no matter whether I had the clutch press in or out, I literally couldn't get past this point here. So it would like half engage and it would hit a wall. Like it's like someone like put a plate in front of first gear and they pulled that transmission out. There was no point rebuilding it, because although T5s aren't that cheap, they're still cheap enough to where you can justify buying a new one versus rebuilding them. The T5 sent me back $1,000. Before that, I also bought a stock shifter because I had a short shifter on it. That was $150. So I thought the shifter was the problem. It unfortunately was not. I had to put a new T5 in it. The next thing after that, after I put the T5 in, I started putting together the engine bay, because when I bought the car, everything in the engine was completely bare. It had no power steering pump, had no alternator, had no tensioner, nothing. It was all just sitting around this vicinity. It was attached by any wires or pipes that it had. I had to put everything back on. The timing cover was also loose, wasn't sealed up, still isn't sealed up. It leaks quite a bit of oil still. It had no airbox on it, didn't have this like crossover. It was an absolute mess. So all in the back seat. I did all myself with the help of Ollie. But one thing to consider if you guys aren't mechanically minded, which if you're buying a cheap car off Facebook Marketplace, you kind of have to be, because then you're sort of shafting yourself if you're not. I didn't really spend any money there. I had to buy 2 drive belts because my crank pulley is misaligned and it keeps shredding them. I spent probably $100 on belts. I spent about another $150 on fluids, so I was ATF for the gearbox, ATF for this, and engine oil and filter for that. Coolant as well. So miscellaneous items, I'd say I'd round it up to about $200, just regular service items. Now I have to say I got extremely lucky with the condition of the car. I thought that the car was in way worse condition than it actually was. So when I first saw the car, I thought it was going to be a pile of crap. I thought the brakes were going to be seized on it. I thought the suspension was going to be clapped. But luckily it has brand new shocks in the front and the rear. It has lowering springs in the back and the front, shortened shocks in the back. It has some good quality parts on it. It still doesn't drive amazing. It saved me from having to spend money on it where I didn't need to. So luckily, in terms of the suspension components, I didn't have to do anything. Didn't have to spend any money. I just did a bolt check, made sure that everything was tight and I wasn't going to die. The only other major expensive item that I had to pay for was basically getting the car registered. So registration and insurance and a roadworthy certificate. I can't really say how much a roadworthy certificate is going to cost you, but depending on who you go to, it'll range between $150 and $300. Registration as well. This car is older than 25 years old, which means you can put it on a club permit. So you have to join the club. The club approves your car. They look at the roadworthy condition of the car. Then you go to Vic Roads and you pay $40. Registration was, I think, $200. Club fees were about $70, I think. This car, all up, owes me approximately $5,000 to $5,500, which for a running driving manual EF Falcon is not too bad. Obviously I have to sort out the paint. This thing needs a good buff. It needs paint in some areas, front bar and the guard mainly. I have been dailing it past few days and I've been loving it. It's actually so much fun having a NA car that I can just cruise around in. I'm extremely happy with my purchase and I'm very excited to get this thing turboed. If you guys are enjoying the EF content, please stick around because it's only going to get better. It isn't going to stay NA for much longer, but we're going to try and experience the full potential of the NA sock. And then, of course, it's going to be time for turbo. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.